All right, let's talk about your career. Are you tired of scrolling through job boards, sending out resume after resume into a black hole? Well, today, we're going to flip the script. We're diving into a powerful strategy called strategic direct pitching. This is all about how you can land those amazing, unadvertised jobs. So let's get right into it.
So what if I told you that most jobs, like the vast majority, are never even publicly advertised? Seriously, think about that. If you're only looking at job sites, you're basically fighting over the scraps. You're in this tiny, overcrowded pond. But there's a whole ocean of opportunities out there, fills before anyone even posts an ad. The big question is, how do you get to them? That's exactly what we're going to break down.
Okay, so what is this hidden job market anyway? It's not some secret club with a password. It's simply all the jobs that get filled without ever hitting a public job board. You know, a position opens up and they immediately promote someone from within. Or a manager asks their team, hey, do you know anyone good for this? That's a referral. Sometimes they even create a role out of thin air for a rock star candidate who just comes along. Companies do this because it's faster, cheaper, and less risky. But for the average job seeker, these roles are completely invisible.
And this is where we get to the core idea. It's a total mindset shift. On one side, you've got the reactive applicant. They wait for an ad to pop up, then they react. On the other side, you have the proactive problem solver. This person doesn't wait for an invitation. They're out there figuring out what a company needs, sometimes before the company even puts a name to the problem. Then they show up and say, here's your problem, and by the way, I'm the solution. See the difference? You're not just applying for a job, you're creating the opportunity.
Okay, so here's the plan. We'll kick things off with the hidden job market, then we'll talk about becoming a problem solver. After that, it's all action, doing your homework, crafting an irresistible pitch, and finishing strong with professional persistence. Let's dive in.
First up, the hidden job market. Let's really get our heads around just how big this thing is and why tapping into this unseen world is, well, a total game changer for your career.
You know, it's easy to think that job sites are the whole picture, but they're not even close. They're just the tip of the iceberg. Look at this. The advertised roles, that's the small bar. The hidden job market, that's the giant one. Some studies say as many as 80% of jobs get filled this way. When you learn how to pitch yourself directly, you're no longer fighting hundreds of people for that one tiny piece of the pie. You get access to the whole thing.
So how do you actually do it? How do you get into this hidden market? It all starts right up here, in your head. It's about making a fundamental switch in how you see yourself, from a job applicant to a genuine problem solver.
This quote just says it all perfectly, doesn't it? The approach should shift from asking for a job to offering a solution. Think about it. Please give me a job is a weak position. But I've noticed you have this challenge, and here's how my skills can fix it for you. That's powerful. You immediately stop being just another person asking for something and become a valuable consultant offering help. It changes the entire dynamic.
Okay, but to be a problem solver, you first have to know what the problems are. And that means you've got to do your homework. We're not talking about a quick glance at their website. We're talking about becoming a company expert.
And real research is so much more than just skimming the About Us page. It's about understanding the whole playing field. So for example, if you're targeting a market like Abuja, you don't just look at one company. You look at the key growth industries: telecom, finance, consulting. You identify the big players, like an MTN or a Neurenberger. You figure out what makes them tick, what's pushing their growth. It's this deep dive that lets you connect the dots and start seeing where the real opportunities are hiding.
So what exactly are you looking for in your research? Here's a quick checklist. Yeah, look at their mission and values. That's about cultural fit. But then dig deeper. What have they been up to lately? Check out their recent projects, their big achievements. What are their strategic initiatives? Are they launching a new product, expanding somewhere? But here's the goldmine. Find their challenges. Read between the lines of their annual reports or news articles. Every challenge is a potential job that doesn't exist yet, and that is where you come in.
All right, you've done the deep dive, you're an expert. Now it's time to make contact. This is the fun part, crafting that irresistible pitch. We're going to focus on the art of the cold email, one that's so smart and so targeted, they'll have no choice but to pay attention.
First things first, though, who do you send it to? You can't just blast it to a generic info address. You need to reach a real person, a decision maker. Finding their email can feel like a bit of a mystery, but it's really just a pattern game. Take a big company like MTN Nigeria, for example. You can see there are clear patterns. Almost half their emails use the first initial, last name format. Once you know the likely patterns, a little bit of clever guesswork,
or using a simple online tool can get you the right address, it's totally solvable. Now for the email itself, the perfect pitch has a really simple 3-step anatomy. Step 1, the personalized hook. This is where you prove you did your homework, no generic dear sir or madam. Step 2, the quantified value proposition. Don't just say you're good at something, show it. Use numbers. I increased efficiency by 20%, that kind of thing. And finally, step 3, a low-friction call to action. Make it super easy for them to say yes. Not, can I have a job, but would you be open to a brief 15-minute chat next week?
Of course, you could write the most brilliant email in history, but if the subject line is bad, it's going straight to the trash. The subject line is everything. It's the gatekeeper. You've got a few options here. You could lead with pure value, idea for improving your user onboarding. Or if you have a connection, use it. A referral-based subject line gets opened almost every time. You can also just focus on a killer qualification. The goal is always the same. Be clear, be direct, and be just intriguing enough to earn that click.
Okay, the perfect pitch is sent. You hit send, you take a deep breath, and now what? This next part is where so many people drop the ball. It's the final and, I'd argue, the most critical piece of the puzzle, the follow-up. This is all about being persistent, but doing it with total professionalism. It's what really separates the pros.
And your follow-up can't be random. You don't just send emails whenever you feel nervous. You need a strategy, a timeline. So you send the initial pitch on day 1. Then a few days later, you send your first follow-up. A week after that, the second one. You see how it's spaced out? It keeps you on their radar without being a pest. It's a system. It even goes all the way to a final breakup email, which is a super classy way to say, hey, I'll stop bothering you now, but let's keep in touch. It leaves the door open for the future.
And listen, if there is one golden rule for following up, this is it. Please never, ever send an email that just says, just following up or just checking in. It's the worst. Every single time you contact them, you have to add new value. Send them an interesting article you found about their industry. Offer a new thought you had on their challenge. Share a quick, relevant example of your work. This way, you're not nagging, you're nurturing. You're continuing to prove your value.
So, let's bring this all together. If you only remember one thing from our time today, make it this. You need to adopt the career entrepreneur mindset. Seriously, stop thinking of yourself as an applicant. You are not a job seeker. You are a business of one. And your dream companies, they're your potential clients. Your job is to show them how your business, your skills, can solve their problems and bring them value. So I'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. Take a hard look at what you're doing right now. Are you just applying for jobs, just reacting to whatever crumbs fall off the table? Or are you getting out there and actively creating the opportunities you really want? Because the choice and all the power that comes with it is completely yours. That's all for today's Explainer.